Hello everyone, my name is Saurabh. In this video, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about an ITIN application. If you are a foreign seller, you want to open an account with eBay, PayPal, Amazon, and all of them are requesting an ITIN from you, then this video is for you. So what is an ITIN? An ITIN is nothing but a tax identification number issued to you by the IRS. Filing a tax return is mandatory. So along with your ITIN application, your tax return must go to the IRS, and of course you need to submit your original passport or a certified copy of your passport to get ITIN. So what are the uses of an ITIN? Well, for one, you can file your tax return. Foreign students in the US may need to file their tax return for the first time if they receive any income. You can use to get a US credit card and start with your credit history. Start making your credit history. You can open a US bank account or even get a US driver's license. So who needs an ITIN? An individual who isn't eligible for an SSN and has a US tax filing requirement should apply for ITIN. A valid tax return and ITIN application must be submitted with the original photo ID or certified copies of your passport to the IRS. Foreign nationals who are owners of US LLC, C Corps, partnership, or own real estate in the US while living abroad or living in the US, their spouses or dependents may need an ITIN. Spouses and dependents after 2018 update need to have a US tax filing requirement. They must be able to claim a benefit on the tax return to be eligible to get an ITIN. Similarly, foreign students in the US may need an ITIN if they are working and have a US source taxable income. Who can apply for one? As previously mentioned, if you are not eligible for an SSN, you are living abroad, or if your visa in the US does not permit you to get an SSN, then you must apply for ITIN, and you must have a valid passport from a country that United States recognizes to be eligible for ITIN. If you are a non-resident who is eligible to claim a benefit of a reduced withholding tax treaty, you may apply for ITIN. Similarly, if you are a foreign teacher, professor, or student who needs to file a tax return and non-eligible for SSN, can also apply for ITIN. So it is pretty clear who can apply. You need one thing. You first need to file a tax return. Second would be you need to have a certified copy of passport or original passport. If you don't want to go this route, then you have to work with a certified acceptance agent. I'll come to that. And the third thing is that you need to complete your ITIN application. So there are three things over here. How can you apply for ITIN? Well, to apply for ITIN is pretty clear. You need to fill a form called W7. Along with this, you need to fill out your tax return. Most probably it will be 1040 NR, and NR stands for non-resident. And along with that, you need to provide your original copy of your original passport or a certified copy. If not both, then you should work with a certified acceptance agent who will certify and send the documents to the IRS. The documents need to be mailed to this address. Can spouses and dependents apply for ITIN? According to the IRS, the spouses and dependents for the years from 2018 to 2025 should not apply for ITIN unless they qualify for a allowable tax benefit. These individuals must be listed on the US tax return with a schedule or a form that applies the benefit. So spouses and dependents who are already living in the US, and there has to be some tax benefit claimed on the tax return. Usually it is the taxpayer who has a spouse and a kid in the US, and they must be claimed on the tax return, and the benefit has to be there for the IRS to be convinced that these guys really actually need an ITIN. Do ITINs expire? Can I renew them? Yes, ITINs do expire. ITINs which have not been used on a tax return for at least one of the 3 past years will expire. If you didn't use your ITIN in 2019 or 2020 or 2021, your ITIN will expire this year, which is 31st December 2022. The ITINs which have expired must be renewed if you have a tax filing requirements. They're generally renewed in the same way as your original application. For spouses and dependents, they must file their return with the renewal application to show that they have a tax benefit on the tax return. Another thing about ITIN is that you must allow your ITIN to expire before you reapply. You cannot apply, you cannot renew your ITIN in advance. So the IRS will actually tell you have to wait for your you have to actually wait for your ITIN to expire to reapply again. So who are certified acceptance agents and why do I need them? So certified acceptance agents are accountants who are in agreement with the IRS, authorized to verify the applicant's claim of identity and foreign status by reviewing supporting documentation, authenticity, accuracy, and completeness for the taxpayer and spouse, its dependents, if they are included on the Form W7 application. So certified acceptance agents will basically certify your passport so that you don't need to give your original passport to the IRS, or you don't need to get a certified copy of the passport. So they are like kind of a middleman where you provide the information to them. They will prepare your tax return, your ITIN application, and they will mail the documents to the IRS. And this is one of the fastest way to get an ITIN, because ITIN does take time. The usual time is about 10 to 14 weeks, and a lot of people who submit their ITIN applications incorrectly, the ITIN application get rejected, and it's again like it takes a long time to get reapply and get ITIN again. So my recommendation over here is to work with a certified acceptance agent in your area. There are certified acceptance agents all over the world. You could choose to work with anyone you feel like. Just make sure that you don't do it yourself, simply because the chances of rejection is very high. This might look like a very simple form W7, but you got to remember that you need to fill a tax return as well. If you see the reason for applying is from A to H, okay, you got to get this right, and based on that you need to fill out the form. Along with that, you need to fill a tax return. And last but not the least, as I already mentioned, that you need to certify your passport, and the passport can only be certified by the issuing authority, or you work with the CAA who will certify your passport and apply ITIN for you. So just to give an example, getting EIN, well, you can call the IRS, fill the application and get it. It's pretty simple process. Similarly for tax return, you have so many free softwares to complete your tax return. You can do it by your own, but ITIN as such is a complex process, simply because it involves filing your tax return, completing the ITIN application correctly, and certifying your passport. So there are three things over here, and most people kind of struggle with this. So I highly recommend you to work with a certified acceptance agent who can help you get your ITIN. The fees kind of differs from, say, let's say from $200 to $1,000. It's still a 9-digit number, so really you gotta see, is it really worth paying that kind of amount? We offer the service as well, and we only charge about $200 to do it for you. So yeah, I mean, it's really up to you whether you want to do it yourself or you want a tax professional to handle it. My recommendation with all my experience is that you work with a professional to get ITIN, because it makes life so much easier for you. So what documents are needed for ITIN? Well, I've already explained this. Along with your Form W7, and ITIN applicant must file a US tax return. One of the main reasons why the ITIN application get rejected, because no tax return was attached to the application. Unless an exception applies, which is very rare in your case, you must complete a US tax return to be attached to the ITIN application. If you're planning to do on your own, you must either send your original passport to the IRS with your application, or get a certified copy of a passport. A certified copy of passport is not a notarized copy. A certified passport is the one that is issued by the issuing agency. In the case of passport, it's the passport office in your home country. If you're living abroad, you will have to approach your embassy in the US. If you're living in the US, sorry, you should approach your embassy of your country in the US. And if you don't want to mess with getting your original documents sent to the IRS, you must obviously work with the CAA. The passport is the only standalone document to support your foreign status and your identity. If you don't have a passport, then you will have to produce two other listed documents, which should have a photo on it. For dependents, well, the requirements are a bit different. So this is the one. How long does it take to get ITIN? Assuming you qualify for an ITIN and your application is complete, it takes between 8 to 12 weeks. That's rather optimistic. It takes about 10 to 14 weeks. If you send your application through a CA, obviously the processing time is reduced by a few weeks because your passport is already being certified. If you haven't received a response within this time, then you can call this number. If you're overseas, you can reach out to this number over here and you can ask the IRS the status of your application. So what are the final words over here? So an ITIN application, as simple as it may look, is a complex and just because everything is done on paper, your returns are mailed to the IRS. Even the ITIN letter is given through a mail. Nothing is done online over here, and working with the CAA would really make your life a lot easier. I see a lot of videos on YouTube. Even I made a YouTube video on how to complete a Form W7 application. Well, that is just to give you an idea on how the ITIN works. That is not really professional or legal advice. Lot of people, well, a lot of foreign sellers come to me because they want ITIN, because PayPal wants it, Amazon wants it, or Stripe wants it. They want to open a US account, and what I would suggest anyone who wants an ITIN is to open a US LLC, a single member LLC, and then use your LLC to get an ITIN, because that really says that you are serious about making money in the US, filing a US tax return, even though not you won't be as a single member LLC unless you have effectively connected income. I don't want to get into that. None of your income is taxable. So the US single member LLC basically for a foreign national is a pass-through entity. So the LLC does not pay the tax, the owner does, but the owner would only pay tax if his income is effectively connected. Effectively connected, which means he has an office in the US or whether he has employees in the US. Now, for a single member, that's not applicable, so he basically won't be paying any taxes. So you can use your US LLC to file a tax return and get ITIN, or you need to have some source of US income to show on a tax return to get ITIN. Without that, getting ITIN is kind of difficult. If you have a US partnership or US corp, definitely if there is some income from it, you could apply for ITIN through that. For US partnership, you may be eligible for an exception. You can show your partnership agreement and show that you are a member of the partnership agreement, and that is one exception where you won't have to file your US tax return and get ITIN. So there are many ways, right? So the most common is that people come up as that they actually want to open a US bank account, but to open a US bank account and to get ITIN, you need to show some US source income. It is like a chicken and an egg situation, but it is what it is, and the IRS wants you to file a US tax return to get ITIN. That's about it. So if you like the video, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. We have hit 400 subscribers. If you want me to apply ITIN for you, you can reach me out over here. So we are listed on the IRS website as CAA agents. You can verify that as well, and you can reach out to me if you need ITIN. Our costs are pretty reasonable and it's fully refundable. So if you do not get ITIN, you get your money back, and that is what it is. So we will only proceed if we think you are eligible for an ITIN. If you think that you are not eligible for ITIN at this time, we won't go ahead with the application. Thank you so much for watching and have a good day.